Hello everyone, it's me, Josh. It's the Skype for Business recap at the end of a Friday, but at least it's a Friday. I've been working on the next Spotlight episode, actually, Skype for B Spotlight, and so that took a little precedence today, as that actually kind of is dependent upon schedules and meeting up with those that I am interviewing, etc. Good session, and that'll be out probably this weekend or early next week. We shall see. But yes, here we are on a Friday at the end of a long, busy week. Got to spend a few days at the local Polycom office here in Austin for their annual partner event that they do, and so that was a good time. Got to see a lot of cool things. Have some good discussion. Learn quite a bit for me, actually. You know, video has not always been my sweet spot when it comes to all the peripherals and the video conferencing scene. So this was a good opportunity for me to learn a bit there. I'm gonna tilt the camera just a wee bit to see if does that help. No, not really. All right, got the sun coming in behind me here, and it is what it is. Okay, so if you haven't been hiding under a rock this week, specifically the last couple days, then I think you know what the first topic is going to be on the show today. So without further ado, let's, again, as always, go to our Infinity screen, pull up our browser. Skype for Business Mac client has arrived. It is now GA, general availability. It hit just the other day, and this was very long awaited. We knew from Microsoft at Ignite that they were targeting a release of October, and we had heard nothing from Microsoft to indicate anything to the contrary for the whole month of October. So we knew that it was just a matter of days now, and any moment, to be precise. And sure enough, just not even 2 days, I think, fully now, they announced it. And all of you Mac lovers out there have already updated your Macs and are kicking the tires. And there's some important things to remember when it comes to kicking the tires and getting the new client and everything. We'll get to that in a second here. But first off, as is normal for a new release, Tom Arbuthnot, a MVP in the community, was first on the scene, on the blogger scene, one of the first on the blogger scene anyway. Got something put together really quick with the relevant links and details and threw it out there for us. And he kind of gives some of the details about version numbers and file name, published on the 26th, a little bit of his insight and keys there. The first thing I'm going to do is click on this link to go to the actual download page. Now, when you go to the download page, it's quite anticlimactic for what everybody. You would expect this page would have like trumpets sounding and chariots racing across on video and fireworks bursting outside of your screen because the Mac has arrived, right? Well, we have our standard download page here. Skype for Business on Mac is what it's actually titled on this page. We have our details. Okay, we've got our system requirements and our install instructions. Nothing out of the ordinary for this. It's here. That is the big news. And so go get it, go download it, start having fun. Before you get too deep into that, though, let's jump over to the next screen, and that is right on the heels of the announcement, the known issues of the Skype for Business on Mac. Okay? Whereas the Mac was released on the 26th, this posting was published on the 27th. They didn't want to dampen anyone's spirits too quickly, but there are known issues already being reported. It's some stuff that was known about before they even launched. But it wasn't show-stopping type stuff. So let's take a look here really quick. Before they get down to the known issues, they talk about the server update, all right? E911 support is going to require the CU4, which is coming soon and not even out yet. So they're saying, yeah, if to get this, you're going to have to get the latest update that is not yet updated yet. So that'll be coming soon. I believe this is actually in a preview of sorts here. CU4 is. So if you are part of that program, you should be able to go and grab that and get to work evaluating. Getting into the known issues, Outlook integration right out the gate here. you need to have a certain version of the Mac Outlook client. 15.28 or later is required. Skype for Business has to be running. You have to use the same user account signed into your Outlook as your Skype for Business. Some of this stuff is common knowledge, and other stuff is kind of like, okay, so there's a certain threshold on Outlook version we need to have. Side-by-side installation, meaning you have Skype for Business and Link for Mac. 2011, not supported in that scenario. They recommend that you perform a clean uninstall of Link for Mac prior to installing Skype for Business. Now, I don't see them flat out saying it won't work, but you're likely to run into problems. I think some of that is reflected in other points as we move down the list here. I'm not going to get into each of these because, as you can see, we have a pretty healthy running list here. There are a number of items to pay attention to and look at before you go getting too happy and installing this client. I think you'll be happy for the most part, however. With the improvements, especially to the look and feel, and the fact that it doesn't feel like you're on some ancient piece of software from 1837. So this is good stuff here to take all this stuff into consideration. I'm sorry about all my system sounds. I assume I'm getting a lot of email all of a sudden for some reason, but I'm not gonna dive into that too deeply. Okay, so check this stuff out before you go doing anything. I also saw some people out there pointing things out about the fact that even Microsoft made known this is not going to be fully featured out the gate. There are going to be some features that are simply not there yet. Most of it's there. A good working client is there, but there are going to be some more advanced features. Maybe some of you would consider some of it basic, but it depends on what kind of user you are. Some of it will be coming out in subsequent releases or updates. All right, so have some patience with that. But we have arrived at that day. We no longer have to sit here and wring our hands about the Link for Mac 2011 client, 5-year-old client. It's finally been updated, and Microsoft has done a good job. It looks nice, and the feedback has been largely positive and well received so far. So very, very good stuff. I am not a Mac user, don't have an iPhone, don't have a Mac. I'm not kicking the tires on this, but I have been covering its anticipated arrival for quite some time. And on behalf of all you organizations that must support a large array of Mac users, primarily executives and up, I am happy for you. I share in your joy that this client is now here. All right. All right, let's move on. Actually, something that is quite related to that release, a blog post from, again, October 27th. Didn't want to hamper the October 26th news too much, but the next day, new Skype for Business 2016 look and feel coming your way. All right, our nice, beautiful Skype for Business PC clients are going to be going through some changes. Depending on what track you're on of the click to run, you could see those changes as early as November. Some of you are not going to see them till the first quarter of 2017. But there are some look and feel things that are going to happen here. And they give us some screenshots that show us what they're talking about. Like they say on the main window, you'll notice the new look to the following elements. All right, that does look a little different up here, doesn't it? When you hover over a contact's photo, you'll notice the modality icons have changed as well. When you open a conversation window, you'll notice several changes. Some of this stuff has to do with greater contrast between background colors and text or icon colors, making it easier for visually impaired persons to see the different buttons and the lettering. So they're making it more friendly in that regard. Also, Microsoft is really pursuing a strategy right now of trying to bring uniformity across the client experience from one OS to the other. They don't want a Mac client that looks way different than the PC client. They don't want a PC client that is going to be way different than what you see in the WebRTC versions down the line, I'm sure. And for that matter, they don't want your Skype for Business experience in the client to be vastly different in a confusing way for those of you that'll be using the new Skype room systems. When you jump onto those smart docks and you're using those pros that you come in Crestron's, Polycom's, and Logitech's versions of the smart docks, They want this to be a seamless transition. They want you to know exactly what you're doing. They don't want you to have to go through training to use these room systems. If you're a Skype for Business user, you know how to use these room systems. They are really, really, really putting a lot of focus and effort on making sure that the experience is consistent across all platforms. All right, and this includes working very closely with vendors like Polycom and Crestron and Logitech to make sure that certain look and feel standards are adhered to through this process. This is important. People for the longest time have not only complained about the fact that there are 50 million clients, but that they all look and feel different and it's confusing to end users. Microsoft is addressing that in a very real way, and I think we're starting to see that. And over time, I think we're going to see some other interesting marketing messages. Matt Landis and I kind of theorized a bit about this on our on the interview that we did at Ignite about some interesting marketing and branding messages that we're starting to see from the Skype for Business team. And not just the look and feel and the consistency across the board, but we are really hearing a lot more Skype for Business elements or associated tools only having Skype in the word there. Okay, I don't know exactly where this is going. One can only guess, but we noticed that they, not just people using the tools, but Microsoft themselves seem to be getting a lot more cozy with chopping down the lengthy Skype for Business title to Skype in an interchangeable way, not just commercial, but also for business, but just saying Skype. And this is becoming a trend that I'm seeing. So I'm not gonna, talk about that too much more because it would all be hearsay. I don't know for sure what's going on there, but it's something to watch out for. If you're thinking about going out and buying a web domain that is geared towards the Skype for Business name, maybe you want to make it something more generic, like UC something or other, or Skype-ish something. I don't know, but just a little bit of a hunch or a theory there. So pay attention to that, all right? They talk a little bit more about why this is happening, dates and everything, but I already mentioned that here. So Mac is here. Mac will be evolving. The PC client will be changing a bit to look more like the Mac client, and you're going to see more of this same patterns in the Skype room systems. If you want to get more information, by the way, about the Skype room systems, and you want to learn more about them, see a bit more in-depth detail about them, get a little more familiar with what's happening there, go to your local user group. All right, and if you are in the San Antonio, Austin area, come to my user group. Come to the user group we are doing in Austin, okay? We're launching this thing on November 10th, and there are other groups kicking off this quarter around the country, and you will be hearing about Skype room systems, seeing a presentation on them, and then also, of course, having open discussions on general community developments that have been happening, hanging out with a bunch of your peers and people in the organizations around your local area that are doing what you're doing, and also getting some free food. So win-win for everybody, but that is a good way that you can get more immersed in the Skype room systems dialogue that is happening right now. All right, next up, a couple of cool new tools I want to touch on here that happened this week that we should all be aware of. Michael LaMontagne, another Office Servers and Services MVP, he put together this really handy tool that is available for download out on the gallery on TechNet. As you can see, there's the link for that. And if you go and download it and like it or have feedback, please give feedback and rate the tool, because that is super important to those of us that actually put things out there and want to know, is it what people are looking for? Do they want something different? How can we improve? Feedback. Anyway, I digress. This tool. Earlier this month, Michael mentions, and he gave a link to the blog, he talked a bit about the Skype for Business online admin portal getting session details preview, all right? So that you're getting different sessions, session details about people's calls and their interactions on Skype for Business Online. And this is very important. We're seeing this kind of stuff, we're seeing that Event Zero technology, that UC Commander underlying technology starting to shine through in the Skype for Business Online admin portal. and we're getting more details about our client, our end user sessions out there. Now, that's really cool that you can go and do that via the GUI in the portal. However, what Michael's done here is packaged up a script that you can run that gives you a GUI that you can use for tying into this same environment and actually pulling a little bit more info than what's currently available in the portal in the preview. So he gives us some screenshots here. You run the executable. All right, this executable comes up, or the script comes up and gives you this GUI. It prompts you to sign into Office 365 like normal, of course. All right, so you sign into Office 365 with your global admin credentials. And then he points out after it runs, it's going to take a few moments to populate everything in here. He mentions his benchmark of about 45 seconds for 4,000 users. Once the list gets populated, you can just start typing to search for somebody. All right, then when you get that person in there, you put a duration for how long of a time frame you want to search for their details and their conversations. And then you click submit, okay? And you get this handy little output in the window here. You can expand this tree view to get further breakdown of details, to look at individual calls or interactions from that particular user, and then different pieces of information about each interaction. Really helps you dig in and get an understanding of what's going on there, helps you troubleshoot problematic calls, and then taking this a step further, he gives you the ability to copy things out into a notepad or other editor, and then do an export all as well to kind of export everything into a different an external file. So again, he gives you the download for the gallery link there. Go download it, kick the tires. For those of you that have an Office 365 tenant and are using audio out there, especially PBX calls, great troubleshooting tool, great visual way to do it. This is perfect for digging in. Michael, thank you for doing the work and sharing this with us. Super, super awesome. Next up and last on my list, the UC Unleashed blog, which is Pat Richards, another Office Servers and Services MVP. This is his blog. And he put together the Set-CsFeatures PowerShell script here. Now, as he points out, he has done a couple previous versions of this for Link Server 2010 prereq script, Link Server 2013 prereq script, and what the point here is to automate the deployment of all of the required prerequisites on a Skype for Business or Link server prior to installing the software. You know, there's a number of things that need to be done, and it's kind of a pain to get all that groundwork laid out. It's a very manual process. He has provided a script for going and doing all that, and then given us a plethora of options via these parameters for actually specifying how we want to do this. He points out as well that what he's done is put this Skype for B parameter on here, and it runs a script in Skype for Business mode. Options chosen while running in this mode are tailored to Skype for Business. Not specifying this option will cause a pop-up prompt when the script starts, allowing a user to choose the desired mode. So not just for Skype for Business, but it allows you to run it in Skype for Business and then customizes your experience to that application version. So he has done a great job. We don't have screenshots on this one, but he's done a great job of thoroughly laying out the syntax, the examples, because instead of this being a GUI, we are having a true PowerShell-like experience running the script here. With all the different options that are available to us. So syntax, examples, parameters, and then goes over the installation really quickly, and then even some frequently asked questions in here, and he's got some really good feedback on that. And then he mentions that he's got the release from the 24th, the release from the 25th, and then the 28th. This whole week, Pat has been on it, and he has been updating this thing as bugs are brought to his attention and things are worked out there, and he's getting it all cleaned up and looking really nice and helping everything work just so. So to get the latest version, of course, just grab the one from 10.28, which incidentally is today. All right, and there's already comments going on down here from this post. Very, very cool stuff. Pat, thank you as always for your many contributions to this community and PowerShell in general. So your efforts have guided many of us in our quest to catch up with the PowerShell times. All right, let's jump back over to the Infinity screen and the main screen. that's all I've got for today, guys. It is the end of the Friday, and I'm tired. Time to get some dinner rustled up, and time to get into a weekend and kind of enjoy that. All right. I hope your weekends go well. I hope you guys have safe and good weekends, and I hope that as we head into this busy Q4 season, we are all going to enjoy the ramp up and pre-holiday activity, and then enjoy the break that comes to us. If you guys have any feedback on not just the Skype for Business recaps, I haven't solicited feedback in a while. I'd love for you to send it my way. And also, especially important, this new series that I'm launching, the Spotlight series. Episode 2 will be coming out shortly here. And again, really would like feedback on it. I've gotten good feedback already, and I've gotten a lot of interest from partners and vendors out there and being featured. So there is a lot of episodes ramped up for this. You can expect to have a good, healthy pipeline for the next while here. But I want to know if you think there's a way that it could be done better or have better suggestions on it. Okay, it's always super helpful. So thanks again for tuning in. I will see you guys back here next Friday or Saturday or any other time during the week that you end up watching this. Thank you. Adios.